If the Fantastic Four were Marvel rivals, what would their abilities be, and what roles would they have? So guys, if you're new to the channel, please comment down below which character you want to see in the game, and please hit that subscribe button. We're on our way to 1,100 subscribers. So starting off, we have Mr. Fantastic. So what would Mr. Fantastic be? Would he be a Vanguard, or would he be a Duelist? It's a difficult one, really, because I think he could easily be a Vanguard, because imagine his abilities. He could expand, and his expanding ability could be like a shield, which a lot of Vanguards, tend to have in the game. They have like shield-like abilities. You also have some Vanguards that don't, such as like Venom, who's more of a dive comp Vanguard. But yeah, he could easily be a Vanguard because he could have an increased health. When he expands, he could also increase health. So when he takes damage from shielding people, he doesn't actually like lose too much. And he could have other Vanguard abilities, but he could fall into that category, or he could just be a straight duelist, where he just has a lot of damage given abilities. He could have stretch abilities. So from this, I mean, he could also, he could stretch to like hit people. He could stretch to like grab someone and pull them in. He could stretch to like stand up, so he can like look over. I also thought he used stretch abilities as his movement ability. So imagine he could stretch, and like you would aim at like a wall, and he like pulls himself up onto that wall, and then you're on a different ledge. So you could definitely use stretch abilities, not just for damage. And I put for his ultimate is him expanding and taking in people's damage. So imagine him like blowing up to like a massive size, like similar to what he could do if he was a Vanguard. But for this situation, a duelist. I mean, it could still be a Vanguard. He blows up even bigger in size, and he takes in people's damage. So like how Magneto has it with his ult. If you're still shooting him and you're still attacking him, then his ball of damage that he shoots out gets bigger and more powerful. Well, it's the same with Mr. Fantastic. It's got a wider range, and anyone shooting at him, he takes it in, and then he'll just shoot it back out at them. Or he could stretch around all enemies in a radius, something like how Psylocke's circle radius is. And he stretches around them all and starts giving damage to them, and could like put them all together. Let me know what you think about Mr. Fantastic and his abilities, and what you think his ultimate could be down below. So moving on to the Human Torch. I think the Human Torch is just going to be a straight duelist. I don't think there's any two ways about it. I don't think he could be a strategist, just like fitting in to like what his abilities are and the type of character he is. I also don't think he'll be a Vanguard either, because again, I feel like it doesn't really fit him as a character from the comics, and just who he is like as a personality. I think the Human Torch is a duelist, and I think he would have some funny, quirky lines as well. So I think that he would be able to fly, which is just standard for him. Same aerial movement as like Iron Man more than Storm. Like the way that Iron Man can increase like his speed of like flying around, I think the Human Torch should hopefully have something similar to that. He would be able to do a range damage on enemies, such as like being in the air. He can shoot like fireballs down. That would be like the range. Obviously I couldn't think of like what a secondary range ability could be. If you guys can let me know down below what you think that could be. I put that he could have a team up with Storm. So think about this, like Storm has her, obviously she can do tornadoes and things like that with her ultimate, and I thought, what about if you could create like a fire tornado or something, where if you're Storm or him, you press the button and you create like, I don't know, some type of fire tornado vortex. I don't know if you can control it, or you just send it out and it just goes like in one direction, or if it like bounces off the walls. I'm not too sure, but I feel like you could think of some type of team up for them. If not that, something else. I think they would work quite well. And I put for the Human Torch's ultimate is that he goes supernova. So him going supernova is like, it's crazy. He's done it a couple of times in the comics, and he's unleashing like a fire explosion. I did at first think he could move around, but then I just thought, imagine he can just like fly in and like drop, or maybe do it possibly a bit in the air, and he just unleashes a crazy fire explosion that does damage to the buildings, does damage like in a radius, and if you get hit by it and you're not dead, you can still be burning a little bit by it for a couple of seconds after, so you're still taking some type of damage. I really think that would work well. So guys, moving on to the next one is Invisible Woman. So this is going to be our first and only strategist of the video that we're going to discuss. And I think the reason for it is just because she just fits the bill. Like her roles and her abilities and how she is as a character, I think fits strategist more. You could maybe have the argument to put her as a vanguard because of her protection bubbles and like her force field. I think you definitely could make the argument for her to be a vanguard or a strategist, but I've gone with strategist in this video just because I feel like that's probably what she would be, like leaning more to her. So obviously I put that she can go invisible. It's in her name, that's who she is. I think she should be able to go invisible a little bit longer than any other character that can, such as, you know, Loki with his right click, the way that he can disappear, and Psylocke, the fact that she can go invisible. Again, obviously Moon Knight would be a counter for this, but yeah, I think that she should be able to go invisible. I put that she has little protection bubbles around herself and her team that she can like throw out. That's like just little simple protection bubbles, similar to the Hulk. I've also put that she can have a force field. So in this force field, it can last like a few seconds, and in this force field, you're like not taking any damage, but it can get shot and destroy the force field. But when teammates are in the force field, they can be healed. So I don't know if that sounds a bit too OP. I just don't know how long it would last. Obviously, if you're not getting shot at, then it's fine. But if you are, then obviously it'll get destroyed. So I don't know. This is a tricky one. And I put for her ultimate ability is that she can go invisible longer than she usually does for her abilities, but in a radius, she can also have her teammates go invisible, so they can also go invisible, which I think is a very interesting ability and ultimate. Imagine being able to make your teammates all of them go invisible for like 3 seconds. I think that's crazy. I think that's pretty cracked as well. Like the strats that you could come up with. I don't think it won't change like the hearing sound. You can still hear your teammates running, but making them go invisible is really cool. So moving on to the final character, and that is The Thing. And I think that he will be a vanguard, a straight vanguard. I don't think he'll be a duelist, and definitely don't think he'll be a strategist. Again, I think he'll be a vanguard just due to, like, you know, how he is as a character. He'll have increased, health. He can take a lot of damage. He could have like a shielding ability where he just he just stands in front of your teammates. I definitely think one of the abilities that I'll go on to with him shielding could be a possibility in a moment. But let's get on to his attack. So I put that he can pick up debris. So you know how on the maps that you can destroy like buildings and things? But for The Thing, he has an interesting ability where if you're destroying the ability, for him, rocks appear. Or different types of debris that only he can pick up. And he can throw these at enemies, like causing like whatever damage, depending on where it hits them, how close they are, and things like that. I put that he also has like combat skills. Like, have you seen like his fists? Like, he is massive. So he can he can fight people close range, doing like pretty decent damage. But going on to the shielding ability of like a vanguard, I think that he could pick up debris for cover. So if he picks it up, like he holds it in front of him, and if teammates are behind him, or if he's like, him just standing in front of teammates, then he can protect them. And that's until obviously the debris gets destroyed, and then he just goes back to moving around without the debris. I put for his ultimate is it should be called his clobbering time, and he has increased damage and starts throwing like massive rocks at the enemies. I couldn't really think of what I would want his ultimate to be besides something along these lines. If you can think of a better ultimate for The Thing, then please let me know down below. I think all of these Fantastic Four characters will be amazing, and I think that these will release sooner rather than later, with the anticipation of the Fantastic Four movie releasing relatively early next year in 2025. So I think that's why I made this video, with that in mind, that the Fantastic Four could be coming a lot sooner than we think. So yeah, guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please make sure you go down below and like the video. Please leave a comment and hit that subscribe button, as we're closing in on 1,100 subscribers. So yep, I've been Az. You guys have been awesome. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.